Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Milltown Wrench and Alt27. Hello, guys. Thanks for the comments. Yeah, welcome back to. Hello, Pamela. Good morning. Welcome to another live stream. I think I'm gonna probably start doing these on a different index or something, because I feel like doing them on Nasdaq all the time is a bit, I don't know, it's getting a bit stale. Maybe we can do it on US30 or something, but you know, Nasdaq is what I personally trade, so just look to be doing it on Nasdaq. So just looking at the charts quickly, we have, looks like a top level here, some kind of resistance up here for sure, as it approached the overbought. It swung down 2 wicks on this level here before swinging down. First time here, good morning. Hi, Adam. Welcome. Stony Works, hello. Peter. Morning, brother. Morning, everyone. Do you do bigger lot sizes since Nasdaq moves less than US30? I would disagree that it moves less. Nasdaq often moves more than US30. But no, the lot sizes are the same a lot of the time. There's no reason to change it. I've seen Nasdaq be a lot more volatile and move a lot more than US30. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so we've got this, what looks like a top level here. We've got this all-time high right up there. That would have been a nice short, actually, on that level. So it looks like we're pretty much, when was this? So this was from London and Frankfurt. They're open, looks like they shorted it, and then we got this kind of small bounce pretty close to the 200 moving average before moving back up again to this previous top of the day. And then again, it seems to have fallen off because the RSI was overbought and it seems to be swinging downwards. But as we've seen in these streams, before, all that's needed is the volume from the US session to send it through the resistance and onto new highs. So as you can see, the angle of this 200 has been rectified by not exactly retests of it, but the price moving closer towards it, because the price always likes to be near the 200 moving average. So this, you know, crazy steep angle, which the 200 moving average isn't really supposed to be at. It's not really supposed to be this steep. It's kind of supposed to be like waves. Yeah. So this angle has now been fixed by the price coming down towards it. So it could be setting up for another bounce to higher levels. I think we're getting ready for another run up. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was just explaining. Good morning from Kenya. Hello, good morning. Are you still using IC markets? Yes, I am. IC markets all the way, especially if you're in Europe. IC markets have the best spreads that I've seen, to be honest. I mean, you know, the US indices are going to be slightly different just because obviously we're not in the States, but in terms of what you can get with everything else, IC markets is definitely great. Hi Brutus, hello Kunda. Morning Brutus, hello Mickey. Can you look at S&P 500? I mean, I can. Looks like pre-market we've jumped up. That's usually quite a bullish sign for the indices. The RSI closed at the oversold level, so it looks like we are getting ready for a potential run up. The star was printed back over here. It was a fairly valid star. I mean, the RSI is pretty high up, so I'd be quite cautious of taking that one. And as you can see, you know, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, it was already very high up, and then you've got the rejection off of this previous resistance level, which was previously touched during the Frankfurt and London session. Hello Brutus from Greece. Hello Alex. Your opinion on US30 right now? Well, it looks like it's broken through the 200. Again, oversold, so we could see a swing straight back up to it, and at least a retest or a break straight back through at open. That's what the RSI is telling me. It's been, oversold. This whole kind of move right here is oversold. So the US Open would be exactly what it needs to use as like a springboard straight back through the 200. But I mean, US 30 is ranging pretty hard recently. I mean, obviously there's moves to catch, but Nasdaq is moving much nicer. So if we go and draw our levels, it looks like we found support on this level here. And then obviously we have the top level. The reason I'm drawing it there and not down here is just because we can see there's support, a small level of support here. You can see this rejection wick right here as well. So it looks like there's a minor level of support on this level. So it'll be interesting to see how the price reacts to that. Yeah, basically correlates with that previous level there as well. And then in terms of a lower level, we've got this one right here. This again is below the 200. So if the price were to break below that, then we've got a bearish trend on the 15-minute time frame. And that would be interesting for a short. So what we could be seeing here is a potential double top on this recent, like in the recent time frame before a break through the 200 moving average. However, things, they're not looking particularly bearish. SPY has gapped up pre-market, and if SPY is doing well, then Nasdaq is often doing well. Yeah, so the 2 hour, the 1 hour, all setting up for a potential bullish move, and the 4 hour as well, actually, which is pretty rare to see. The 4 hours actually oversold right now. So long term, this could be a really nice swing upwards. Depends what time frame you're trading. If you're trading these higher time frames, wait for confirmation, which would be a breakthrough here. Take it, watch how it deals with this resistance, and then obviously if it breaks through, then it's going to go crazy. But you can see the star printed just on this support level. So your confirmation would be a breakthrough this, and then an extra confirmation would obviously be new all-time highs. So it'd be interesting to watch if you are swing trading for sure. There's some pretty high potential for holding a trade on Nasdaq for a decent amount of time. Again, it's just these key levels here that we need to break, and the candle needs to close over before we get that confirmation. So we'll see how it opens. We've got about 7 seconds till market open, and we'll see what happens. So nothing just yet. It's kind of ranging between these zones here, and then obviously we'll wait for confirmation before we decide anything. But things aren't looking very bearish just by looking at higher time frames. It just looks like it's in the middle of some consolidation right now, and we need the US Open liquidity and volume in order to break through these previous levels. Because the Asian and the London session, they don't they don't really have that kind of like the power to break through these key levels. There just isn't enough money being traded on the US indices at that time. I mean, obviously it can happen. It's just not very often. So a lot of the time during these streams we've seen it's been kind of consolidating in between the Asian and London session, and then the US session will decide the trend for that day. So we'll just sit back and watch for a bit. And see what happens. If you guys have any questions, now would be the time, just as we're watching how this plays out, because the last thing we want to do is get caught in this consolidation range right here, between this blue line and this zone here. So we need some confirmation first. Okay, well, looks like it's going for it. Again, candle closure, that's extremely important. Just because it's done this, it doesn't mean anything for certain. It could just be one of those pretty crazy market open wicks. That doesn't confirm anything. Candle closure is what you're looking for. If we switch to 5 minutes, we can see that there's a buy star now. This is actually lining up with the strategy. So the buy star is there above the 200. A clear a clear breakaway from the 200, RSI crossing upwards, LMI green, LMI green. Again, candle closure is very important. So we'll see what happens with that. If you want to be, a bit riskier, you can buy on this support right here. So just like a buy would have been placed on this support level. So that way, your maximum risk is down below this level down here. And then obviously the reward is pretty extreme because we've never been to this part of the market before. So the reward is, essentially as much as the market is willing to give. So we'll see how this candle closes. I've changed the 5 minutes now just to make it slightly more interesting. And just to give you an example of an ideal setup here, we have the buy star on this support level. We have the RSI crossing upwards from oversold, and we have the two LMIs going green, and we're above the 200. So that's pretty much as easy as it is, as easy as it gets. Sorry. Before this candle is pretty crazy actually. So yeah, if you're looking to buy, it would have been on this support. Right now, you're in the middle of the zone, so just hold off on it, because the last thing that you want to happen is to get rejected off this resistance and then it falls straight back down. So if you haven't bought in yet, then you're going to wait for a clean breakthrough through the previous all-time high level, as it's currently too late. Well, for the 5 minute anyway, it's slightly too late just because you've got quite a significant difference between this, what was resistance and is now should be support, and where it is now, because you could just be stuck in this zone again, and that would be very painful to watch. So now we're just waiting for a break through 200 moving average. I mean, sorry, the previous all-time high level. Yeah. I'm on the 1 minute, lol. Wow. Let's see what the 1 minute's saying. Yeah, 1 minute, that was a nice setup actually. The 1 minute had a very nice setup. Again, blue star, which is a buy star, off of this support, off of the 200 as well actually. And then on this level, you've got, where's my vertical line? There it is. So on this level, you have RSI crossing upwards, LMI green, buy star off support, which is the 200, and a clean break into this zone again. So the 1 minute is looking nice as well. We'll see how it reacts to this previous all-time high level before trading. I'll get rid of that blue line. I feel like it's a bit obstructive. Yes, guys. So now that I've done a lot of the talking about, does Nasdaq usually close gaps like these or imbalances in price rather than gaps? Yeah, I mean, every gap has to be filled. At some point. That's just how trading works. So yeah, I mean, it's, like Nasdaq is a beast of its own, really. It does whatever it wants to do. So you can't really say it usually does anything. I can't give you a clear answer on that. But it definitely moves crazier than pretty much everything else. Like the volatility, because it's the tech market, right? It's the US tech market, so it's infinitely bullish basically, because tech is only evolving. Sorry, I just need to. Yeah, so tech is infinitely evolving, and is basically always going to be bullish. Long term, I'm talking long term. Obviously, there can be some bearish trends as the years go on, but overall, it's infinitely bullish. And because of how much money is pouring in, the Nasdaq market is always going to be volatile. But it's good for us because it means that there's money to be made. Where there's volatility, there's money to be made. When there's a lack of volatility, that's when you get caught out in consolidation and bad spreads as well. That candle is fire. Yes, it is. It is fire. So again, you could have taken this blue buy star here. Slightly risky just because of how high the RSI is. If you're looking for an early entry without the indicators, this would be this candle right here. It shows me that it's rejecting any further downside movement, and then I would wait for confirmation of that as well before seeing this upwards RSI cross. And then, if you want to play it slightly risky and enter before everything lines up, you could have entered on this candle. So you get that upwards RSI cross, this LMI goes green, this LMI is also about to go green, so you could have entered down here and then just held through everything, and that would be your early entry. It's not the safest one because not everything lines up, but I'm just showing you an example of reading candle structure, right, and using the other indicators as an entry. So this candle shows, like if it leaves a large wick to the downside like this, that often is indicative of somewhat of a bounce off a support level. If it's got a small body near the top like this, so the buyers have come in and they've pushed this candle straight back up as it's obviously tried to, as the sellers have tried to push it downwards. The buyers have stepped in and pushed it back up. Hence, you see the RSI cross upwards because that's showing the balance between the buyers and the sellers. And obviously, the LMIs go green on one of these two candles here. So that would be your entry just by reading candle structure, price action, market structure, and using the other indicators. Just want to give you a quick example there. Or, you can be extra safe and wait for the star. Just trying to show you some alternatives. German 30 thoughts. So we had a sell star through the 200. Looks like we're encountering some support right now. The RSI is telling us oversold, so we could see a swing back up very soon here. The key thing to watch out for is if it breaks through. Where would I put that? About this level here. If it breaks through there, then you've got a nice bearish trend. Otherwise, it could be a bounce. And then, you're going to go back to retest the 200 because the RSI is kind of setting itself up for that. It's oversold. So it could have a nice bullish run straight back up to the 200. But again, until it breaks this, I can't really say anything kind of concrete. It needs to break like this level before there's a proper bearish trend. In terms of if you would have jumped in, so the sell star was too close to the 200 to jump in. This candle would have been nice to jump in on. Again, you've got the downwards cross in the RSI, two LMIs going red. But the problem with this one is that it didn't get to the overbought. It didn't get to the overbought region, which is above this purple zone. So I like to take, a sell from up here and a buy from up here. So this RSI didn't quite make it. So this would be, like kind of an outlier in the strategy, which you could have taken, but not everything is lining up perfectly. However, obviously, you would have had a nice entry if you had taken this downwards cross in the RSI. So now it's time to wait to see if it bounces off of this level here, and then the RSI crosses upwards, and then you most likely get a retest of the 200. Because the thing about German 30 is it really likes to, it really respects like support and resistance. So you can see how it's just like this is almost a universal level of support here, and then it has these nice swing upwards, and then just a clean swing down again. So it usually works quite nicely where you get like these uniform movements rather than this kind of choppiness. This is just like a wave, right? Up, down, and it's pretty clean like that. And that's what's special about German 30, and that's why a lot of people like to trade it because it really respects support and resistance levels, and it just moves very smoothly. But anyway, back to Nasdaq. What broker do you use? IC Markets. I'm from the UK, so I'm not American, and IC Markets is the best. Well, in my opinion, it's the best one for anyone in the EU. Hello, Sammy. Late to the stream, no problem. You missed the analysis. That's all right, mate. There's nothing too complex. Just saying how. So we had this support level right here, and then we looked at higher time frames, and everything was crossing upwards and looking pretty bullish. So as one of the viewers, Milltown Wrench, said, he said, looks like it's setting up for another run up. I agreed with him just by looking at the structure, and the RSI was telling us that they're pretty much all actually oversold, which is quite rare for all time frames to be, you know, to be correlating on different time frames, because quite often, like, you'll see, it's overbought 15-minute, but it's oversold on the hourly. But like this time, everything was lining up, so it looks like it's setting itself up for a nice run, for sure. So we'll see what happens. Can we use IC markets in the US? Unfortunately, I don't think so. Your best options are, your best options are, sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. Your best options are broker links, COT4X. I haven't used them obviously because I'm not in the States, but all of the huge big time day traders I've seen are using COT4X. So I would probably recommend using them if you aren't already, and that way you can get hopefully the best broker for yourself. But yeah, I don't think IC markets support American accounts or American people opening accounts. So yeah, looks like we've got candle closure in this new zone right now, and then it's up to Nasdaq if it can break through here, and then the game is on for sure. Yeah, so please keep asking questions, guys, if you have any. Yeah, please keep asking questions, just so I have something to talk about whilst we're watching this, because waiting for the right setup and stuff can take a lot of time. So it'd be best if, rather than us sitting here in silence, I can answer any questions you guys might have. But thank you for everyone who's currently listening. I appreciate it very much. And yeah, it's cool to see you guys. I'm in US and I use Osprey FX. Yeah, I've heard about that as well. Osprey, I'm sure, is a good one as well. That's one I've heard about. I'm just saying personally, COT4X is the one that I've heard the most about. But I'm sure Osprey, if it works, if it works for you, then sure. ALT27, safe to get in now. We have candle closure. Well, you would be buying at resistance currently. As of right now. So, ideally you kind of want this candle to close above, and then you're buying on support. Or if you want to be a bit riskier, you could buy at this level and kind of hope that it becomes the new support level. But I can't guarantee anything. You could see some form of consolidation if it goes back to retest this support here. Then obviously if your first buy is up there, you'll be quite in the red. But yeah, if you want to be a bit riskier, you could buy around here and hope it becomes support. Yeah, so it depends. It depends on your risk tolerance. And best place for a stop, again, depends on your lot size. Around 15,645 is where I'd go, just so you should be safe from any random wicks. I think it would be around this level. That's where I would go. So you just want it to be below the previous support, which for now anyway, because we have the candle closure, is below this blue line, and just slightly slightly further away from it, so you don't get stopped out by some random wicks. But also, seeing as this is new all-time high territory, to buy right now wouldn't be completely brainless, because if it's already pushing up through here, then usually it means like the market is willing to go this far. And yeah, or okay, actually you could wait for hopefully a retest of this support level on the 5 minute, because the 5 minute is approaching overbought, so it could swing back down to here before continuing up. But I'm just giving you different like different opinions. Obviously, please don't take my word for the gospel. I'm just giving opinions. How did you end up with perfect entry? So I went, well, I'm at university with the wizard, who is the guy that coded all the indicators. So we met at university, and then from there, I expressed interest in trading. He kind of took me under his wing, and here we are. That's how I ended up with him. I have a friend trying to get into, sorry, I have a friend trying to get into Forex, and he has been paper trading for about a month. What do you suggest him to do? Use a prop firm or invest 100 and start on it? Is he profitable on the paper trading? That's what I would be asking. If he's profitable, then he could go funded for sure, because he's got a bit more capital to play with. Like $100 isn't much, but yeah, it depends if he's profitable. What was that stop again? I missed it. I would go about 650, 645. Sorry, not 650. About 645 is where I'd go. And then as this candle kind of, it looks like it's going to close above this zone anyway, I'd move it to about 675. Actually, what is this? 670. That's what I move it to at the top of these wicks back here. And then just keep moving your stop loss to secure profits. Why does Nasdaq future go still? Can you give us a buy suggestion and lost position? Don't really understand that question, to be honest. So if you could rephrase that, then maybe I could answer it. But I don't understand. Hi Brutus, would you be willing to go over the perfect entries from last week to see how many entry opportunities there were with your strategy? Sure. Okay, so from last week on the 15-minute, and then Sammy says he is profitable in paper trading. In that case, he should go funded. If he is profitable for over a month in paper trading, but he only has $100, then I'd go funded, because that's not really enough capital to make any like decent money. Please, did you enter this trade, and what is your stop loss? So the stop loss is it's currently, well, it was currently placed at 645, but it will be moved very soon to 670. If you're in the island UK, then low level. Okay, if you're in the island UK, then the standard Vantage FX account is great for indices, no commissions, and the spread at 0.5 points on DAX, 0.8 on Nasdaq, and 1.1 US30. Low leverage though. Well, the low leverage is a problem because I don't like to keep a lot of capital in my account, just because I'm a bit paranoid. So I don't want to have to put any more money on the line. But I appreciate the suggestion. Once something breaks a new zone untouched, how do you determine take profit, stop loss? I don't place a take profit. I just let the market tell me when it's ready to close, or like for the trade to be done. And the stop loss is just moved up to previous like significant points. So these wicks right here is where the stop loss would be moved to if this candle continues like this. You just look for significant points. Mohammed, sorry, I didn't answer my question. Okay, I'm learning to trade on 1 minute on market open US 2000. Advice and compliments for that time frame, please. Don't trade market open, and don't trade the 1 minute on market open. That's just a gamble. That's a 50-50 right there. If you're using the 1 minute on market open, that's never going to work. So yeah, just don't do that, mate. At which point did you enter, please? Which candle? So entry would have been, well, the safest entry that you could have had would obviously be, like down here on the star. But we missed that during the live stream, so I'm just saying a good place to buy would have been at this support level here. Well, if this candle closes above, then this would become support. So that would be your good entry. But the ideal one was back here. Yeah. So yeah, 1 minute on market open is never going to work ever. It's you might get lucky a few times. But yeah, that's just not a good idea at all. Sorry, I was gonna go through perfect entry, like the perfect entries from last week. Okay, when was last week? So the 23rd to the 27th. Okay. So it looks like we had a lot of consolidation actually. All right, hang on. Okay. All right, so the week started the 23rd. Immediately we have this one here. Okay. Sorry, I'm just going to delete everything on my chart. All right. So if you'd like to see perfect entries from last week, so last week was the 23rd to the 27th. Okay. So straight away on the 23rd, we have this one here. I'll mark them all up for you. So this was perfect because we are nice and clearly above the 200 moving average. We have the buy star, we have the RSI crossing upwards, and we have both LMIs go green. So that would be your first perfect entry. This one wouldn't be ideal because the RSI is too high. These sell stars we ignore because we're above the 200 moving average. All of this stuff we ignore. Again, overbought, not oversold. So like if it's kind of chilling out in the middle here, I don't really like to take these because this often means consolidation. So all of this stuff we ignore. Too near the 200, so ignore all that. So far it appears as if that week only had one decent entry actually. So you had that first move at the start of the week on the 23rd, and then what looks like just consolidation really, or just like just low volume ranging after that. So yeah, I guess last week only had one perfect entry, but this this entry would have been enough for the whole week. Like if you had just taken that, like nearly 200 price points, just under. Well, I guess actually you could make it. Oops. Sorry. Okay. If you'd entered somewhere along this candle, that would have been over 200 price points. So that trade on Monday would have been more than enough with any decent lot size, and then you take the rest of the week off or you could do some lower time frame scalping. But that's an example of how there aren't often loads of entries, but the ones that are, they're like they're pretty perfect. In IC markets, can you buy or sell Nasdaq or ES 500 with 0.01 per pip? I don't understand. Just you just have to figure out how much the lot size will move your account and like your leverage and stuff. Hi, where do you see Nasdaq in next week time? Just want to know your view where market is heading. I mean, next week. It's kind of hard to just give you a good opinion here, but so if we're looking at the daily, extremely overbought. We have been since last week, so we could see a pullback by next week for sure. You know, some kind of pullback to this level down here, or to this one. But yeah, in terms of, you know, like if you're thinking for next week, then things are very overstretched on the daily. We're very far from the 200. We're overbought, so I don't see why a pullback isn't happening anytime soon. Just because of these levels, everything's very overextended, and so yeah, we could see a pullback next week. But again, I can't predict the future, unfortunately. So don't take my word for it. But things are looking overextended. Can you talk about news which make Nasdaq go up today? Let me just quickly double check my news app. Is it possible to buy the Pip Hunt indicator lifelong and not monthly? That is not possible, unfortunately. It's a monthly subscription for the Pip Hunter indicators. Got to have a fast trigger finger on the 1 minute. Yes, you do. When is the strategy video coming? I think I'm gonna get it like properly back tested, because I know a lot of people, they like to criticize us if we say it has a high win rate. So I would prefer to avoid that, and I should probably get it properly back tested just for everyone to be able to access. So like, therefore, if I say it has a certain success rate, then people won't call me out for making things up if it's been officially back tested. So when I get around to hiring someone to do that, then that will be I will release the video. So Sammy says, Brutus, for example, I have to make 8% for that's my Forex funds or something, right? That's a prop firm. Do you suggest to keep $80 the day target or something else for it? Well, I'm not sure. Is 8% $80? I'm not sure what you mean. I assume you mean $80 is 8%. Yeah, just hit that every day. Okay, so it needs a 10-day minimum. Yeah, just hit that every day and you'll be fine, mate. Like, don't get greedy. As soon as you hit $80, just close. In terms of the news, someone asked for the news today. Market manufacturing PMI in the US. The market PMI, the purchasing index, is produced from a survey of 600 industrial enterprises in the US and measures the manufacturing sector's performance in the country. So that's high impact news, and it says it was worse than expected. So that's probably what made the market move in terms of the news. And I don't trade on Mondays. That's unfortunate. It's always good to have your alerts on, even if you don't trade on Mondays, just in case you'd see a setup like that. I call that Monday trade. Now I just lower my lot size for the remaining Nasdaq trades. Congratulations, Brian. Happy to hear that. That's very smart. If things aren't presenting themselves to you as nicely as you'd like, just lower the lot size so you decrease your risk. How do you have green candles on those that are supposed to be red? That's a feature of the TDS. So basically, I can show you here. If the candle is still within the trend that's been printed by the star, right? So you can see like there's a buy star here. These are normal bullish candles, but these but these bearish candles are only outlined in red. It's because like the structure is still following what the star is printed, if that makes sense. So it's still within this overall trend, so it just prints them differently. And kind of the point of that is to help you, stay in the trade, like not to, like to not to, sorry, to not close too early, because if these were just normal red candles, then you could get scared. But obviously, if it's printed like this, and it's still inside of this trend, then it's like showing you that even though these bearish candles are happening, then it's still within the trend, and your trade is still safe for the time being. So it's just a feature of the TDS indicator to help you remain in trades for longer. I think it's a very helpful thing just for your, like, for the psychological aspect. 8% of 10,000. So what, you need to make 800. Okay, so so you need to make 800 on a 10,000 account, and your daily goal is 80. Yeah, that works. I don't see why. That's not aiming too high. That's nice and safe. That sounds good, Sammy. Which app do you use for Nasdaq news? My FX book. My FX book. That's the app I use for news. It's kind of, it's kind of wrong to say like only for Nasdaq, because especially like the news in America is going to hit. It's going to impact all the markets across the board. So there isn't one specific for Nasdaq. You just need to know like the global news that's going to release, because it will affect all the markets. Just quickly, looks like this trade kind of it fizzled out a little bit. This is kind of why I was saying it'd be risky to buy on the support. Okay, wait, sorry. Let me just mark it up like how I had it before. All right, so if you guys remember, I'd basically where did I put my line? Yeah, I basically put it here, right? And then we got this first candle break. Hang on, all right, so this is I'm going to explain what I was talking about just before I end the stream. But so we got this clean breakthrough, right? And then I was saying, okay, so we have this clean break. Now we need to wait for a break above this, like the previous all-time high level, before we consider buying something. And then as this candle was going on, and as it was pushing up here, I was saying you could buy on support here if you want to be slightly riskier, right? However, things weren't lining up with the strategy completely, so I didn't personally take it, but I was just giving you ideas as to a trade that you could take. And then obviously the candle closure has actually rejected moving any higher, whereas once upon a time this whole candle was just green and completely straight up. So that's why it's very important to wait for candle closure. That's why I didn't place anything myself. I was just giving some ideas. But yeah, this is exactly why. And even if things were lining up, like the RSI, again, it wasn't from the oversold position, it wasn't from down here, so I wouldn't really want to take a buy anyway. And that's just another example of just like staying out the market until everything lines up perfectly. If ALP 27 is still here, then I hope that was a useful example of exactly the stuff that we talk about together. Just waiting for everything to line up. Wicks looking scary. Thoughts on a double top before heading for a drawdown? Okay, so the double top is definitely a potential. However, I don't know. The 2 hours still looking quite bullish. Again, we would get more confirmation once the candle was closed. things are kind of oversold on higher time frames. But it could be a double top here, but I don't know. Like these higher time frames are telling me something else, to be honest. Like we need these ones to close before like we confirm anything. Yeah, I mean, so the 15-minute will have to come down at some point soon. But if you can close above this zone here, then hopefully it should use this as support. And as it comes down, it will still stay at this level, or it will come down to this one, and just kind of range like between this. But like this candle setup right now is, yeah, you can't really place anything just yet. Wait for the 5-minute to go back to oversold and take another look. Good idea, Jared. I like that thinking. Patience is key. What was the longest time you went without trading but looking for something to line up? Yeah, probably over a week, like around a week. There have been weeks where I just haven't seen anything at all. But you know, it pays to be careful, so I don't mind. I just go and do other stuff. I just wait for your alerts, you know. What do you think your win rate is? 70% or more? Well, you know, it kind of varies. Obviously, I'm not perfect, just like nobody else is, but you know, like we all have our losses. But you know, I'm profitable, so it has to be over 50%. I'd say it can be as high as 85 or 90, and you know, but like a more average maybe be like 60%, 65%. It really depends how careful you are, how patient you are. You know, I think it's kind of, it can be almost 100% perfect if you follow everything as, you know, like you have to be a machine to follow it that precisely. But if you do, I almost think it can be 100%, 100% profitable to a degree. Like I'm not saying each win will be 100 pips or whatever, but I think, you know, it just makes so much sense on like a fundamental level, like the way that have everything kind of set up, you know. So yeah, like the win rate is down to the trader really. It's a very psychological thing, more so than like the indicators that you have on your charts. Win rate all depends on the trader and what they see in the market. That is correct. That's why I said it's like it's more of a psychological thing. You know, some people can be 85% profitable with the exact same setup as someone who can't even make a profit, you know, just because of like their mindset is different, their patience. Yeah, like how they see the market can be completely different. Even if they have the same setup, one could be making money and the other one couldn't. But anyway, guys, that's probably it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. I will see you guys on Friday for another stream. If you need anything, send me a message on Discord. I'm up here on the Perfect Entry server in the top right. That's me, Brutus. Send me a message. I'm always responding to people. So yeah, and if you're interested in the indicators, head to the store, sign up there. I'm sure I've gone over everything already, so I'm not going to keep like advertising it, but it's a great place to be, great indicators, great support, great community. Do you have any tips to not panic when trades go wrong? Trust your analysis, and don't over risk yourself so that you end up panicking. You know, don't use like too large of a lot size so you end up panicking. Trust your analysis, and if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. Try and learn from it. Mark it up and see what went wrong. But yeah,